All right, let's get started. Good morning, welcome. My name is Dan Rayburn. I'm the conference chairman. Appreciate everyone being here. We're kicking off day 2 of the streaming summit with Winston from Amazon Prime Video. Appreciate you being here. So we were talking earlier, it's pretty crazy to think how quickly time goes by in one's life. The last time you did a talk like this was with me 5 years ago on the same stage at the same show, pre-COVID as well. And if we think about just what has taken place over the last year, 6 months in the industry, let alone 5 years from before, in terms of how content is packaged, distributed, consumed, it's been quite an amazing time in terms of what we've learned as an industry. But before we go into what we want to talk about in terms of what Prime Video is doing with sports, we're going to talk a little bit about latency. That's something that you've been working hard on to solve as well, and I know a lot of consumers care about that, but just if you could explain, because Prime Video and just Amazon in general is obviously such a large organization, what are you responsible for in the Prime Video stack?
Sure. First of all, thank you, Dan, for having me.
Of course.
And, I really appreciate what you do for the industry, so keep doing. Congrats and thank you.
Thank you.
So my name is Winston, and I've been with Prime Video for almost 10 years, and I'm a vice president of technology. Head up a lot of the core technologies for Prime Video, right from when you open an application to the point when you stream it on any device, anywhere, for any type of content. So a brief background about Prime Video in terms of who we are. In a very simple, very simple definition would be Prime Video is an entertainment destination. In a nutshell, what that really means is that it's a one-stop shop for a large collection of movies, TV series, live sports, linear channels, and all kinds of content for our customers globally. So let me just illustrate that a little bit. So as a customer, you can consume award-winning Amazon MGM Studios content such as Saltburn, Reacher, The Boys, The Rings of Power, and a lot of interesting content that we produce.
Are they not hearing them back there? Camera, do you have audio? You do, okay. Let's just test the mic, sorry. Say your name and
Winston, Amazon.
talk louder.
Winston, Amazon.
Are you good in the back?
Rayburn.
Okay,
Okay,
good.
cool.
Thank you.
Sorry. So we are an entertainment destination.
Keep your mic right here. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah. There, now we
Is
hear
it better?
you. Yes.
Okay, the other mic probably doesn't work. Prime Video is an entertainment destination, a single-stop shop for our customers to consume a wide range of content, movies, TV series, live sports, linear channels, and many more. And we have award-winning content from our Amazon MGM Studios. We have licensed content from partners. And we also have live sports. And we'll talk about Thursday Night Football today. We have Thursday Night Football, but that's not the only sport that we have on Prime Video. We have a lot of interesting content on Prime Video from a sports perspective globally. We also have premium subscription channels. So you probably know Max Plus, Paramount Plus, P Plus. We have Crunchyroll, MGM Plus. We have a few hundred subscriptions on Prime Video as well. So from a customer perspective, it's one place, in one application, you can consume different types of content, not just from what Prime Video produces, but also from our other partners in a single application with the best streaming experience. So with such a vast catalog, we are very focused on delivering the best experience, a seamless experience for our customers, end-to-end. We are also focused on continuing to innovate. And as Dan, you mentioned earlier, Prime Videos are available globally in 200 plus countries and territories in around 30 different languages as well.
So let's talk sports.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that made Prime Video unique early on was you put such an emphasis on sports and getting sports content, and not just regionally, but to your point, internationally. And you're only just starting to see some of the services go into sports. There were others that were already doing it, but can you talk about how you think of sports as a company when a lot of the sports content is extremely regional?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think from an Amazon perspective, we continue to kind of increase the value of Prime for our customers. That's one of the goals that we have at the Amazon level. Then, Dan, as you mentioned earlier, sports is definitely very exciting for customers. It's one of the most interesting content customers engage with, customers look forward to, and therefore, it makes sense for us, looking backwards from our customers, to put in energy into building a good portfolio of sports content in Prime Video. So let me briefly talk about the different sports that we have. In the US, we have Thursday Night Football, we have NWSL, we have Seattle Storm, we have Yes Network, and globally we have UEFA Champions League in Germany, Italy, UK, we have boxing in Japan, we have Copa de Brazil in Brazil, and many more.
You just did some car racing recently.
Yeah.
Right? You got some car racing content.
Yeah.
The amount of content, I mean, we could spend all day going through the sports content you have. It's incredible. And because we're talking sports content, there's obviously a lot of talk in the industry. I shouldn't say that. There's some talk in the industry about ultra-low latency, which is something that has been important to Amazon. For those that don't know, Amazon went out and bought some technology from NetInsight called Psi. I can't remember how long ago that was now, 2-3 years ago?
Right at the beginning of pandemic. So
okay, wow. So
2020.
This is a unique conversation in terms of we can have in terms of ultra-low latency, because here's a company that's actually implementing it. They're implementing it for a specific reason. It's not tied to betting, like everybody wants to say, right? So you only do it because you need betting. Why are you doing it? What is the reaction you're getting from fans?
Yeah, it's a good question as well. So I think one of the things that's very ingrained in how we think and operate is our customer experience. We are always working backwards from the customers. We want to do what is the right thing for the customers. And when it comes to sports, I believe fans are focused on the best streaming experience. They want to ensure it is uninterrupted. They want to ensure people are fairly close to each other when they're streaming and not everybody is all over the place. And they want to ensure that they're the first ones to know when there is a key play, a key moment that happens, not heard through a tweet or heard through my friends texting me. So from that perspective, we believe low latency is very critical. And we have gotten feedback from our customers as well. And I believe over the years, Prime Video has built probably the best streaming technology when it comes to sports, where we are able to deliver very low latency. And by the way, there are some companies who can deliver low latency.
Define it too. When you're saying ultra low latency, define it.
Well, from our perspective, it is camera to glass, it is less than 10 seconds.
Okay.
And it's not just latency. I think it's important we look at the whole spectrum of customer experience. It's low latency, coupled with very high quality, coupled with uninterrupted streaming, and coupled with dynamic ad insertion, and coupled with other features, and across thousands of devices.
And what's the trade-off
globally.
You have to make there? Because for those that track the industry very well, obviously not everybody can get ultra-low latency. It depends on the device, platform, whatnot. So what's the trade-off you're making? Because you also don't have someone to have all of a sudden a lot of buffering as a result.
Yeah.
How do you make that trade-off? And part two of that question is it ultra-low latency, or however you want to define it, more adopted in the US versus other regions? Are certain sports more important with it?
I think, let me answer the last question. I think customers do engage with or are interested in the low latency globally, because it depends on the sports, as you said. But from what we have seen, providing a low latency stream is definitely something that customers look forward to. And when we provide that, they do see the difference. For example, even in Super Bowl, I think it's people have commented, and I think you probably observed as well, Prime Video delivered the lowest latency stream to our customers. And you're right. You could tweak the latency and have a lot of buffering. You could tweak the latency and end up with an SD stream. We don't want that. And this is where our proprietary technology that we have invested a lot and built over the last several years comes into play. It doesn't use TCP/IP, doesn't use HTTP. It uses UDP as an underlying network stack. And it is, I would say it's quite hard. Like getting UDP connectivity on like a Samsung TV and being able to plumb that through our entire ecosystem and scale it for Thursday Night Football volume and Super Bowl volume is incredibly hard. But very pleased to see that what we have built is enabling a large number of customers with uninterrupted streams and high quality. And we are focused on continuing to improve that. it's still day one for us, and we'll continue to drive across many more devices as well.
I appreciate and like the fact that you said it's hard. So quick point here. Amazon Prime Video is saying this is difficult. Paramount yesterday said this was difficult. CDN's up on stage, said delivering ultra low latency at scale was difficult. Are we getting the point yet as an industry? Because I keep reading every day, just turn on ultra low latency. You don't turn this on, you don't flip a switch, you don't add capacity overnight.
Yeah.
I don't know where this idea comes from in this industry 30 years later. This is hard to do. It's not difficult. This is the guy responsible for doing it. He's telling you it's hard.
And it's easy to do for one stream.
For one stream, right.
One stream, 1 second latency. Yeah, I can see a demo. I'm pretty sure somebody's showing a demo here. But at the scale that we operate across thousands of devices, across thousands of ISPs, it's not.
Across dozens and dozens of sports as well.
Yeah.
So Amazon recently made some changes with Prime Video. They put ads in, right, with a different tier now. One thing I wanted to ask was Prime Video dropped Dolby Vision and Atmos unless you pay the $3 to get the ad-free plan. I don't know if you can comment on that, but if you can, we'd be interested to know.
Well, we are focused on providing the best experience using UHD, HDR10, HDR10+, even in our ad tier. For a select number of titles with Dolby Vision and Atmos, it's currently available only in the ad-free tier. I'll definitely reach out to you, Dan, once I have more information to share.
Okay. So it is what I think it is. The reason why. So what are some of the other challenges you have in the stack? I think one thing the audience would like to hear is, we've been talking about the building blocks in this industry for a long time, right? Storage is not complicated. I wouldn't think storage is complicated. It's been around a long time. So storage, transcoding, some of these services we've had, okay, you're optimizing them, but in that ecosystem of streaming, not on the camera side, but ingestion, right? Still a lot of issues there. Is it transcoding? Is it everything you have to do in terms of packaging and delivery? Is it the encryption? Like, what is the piece there? It keeps you up at night.
I think it's the end-to-end stack, Dan, and with live sports, every second matters.
True.
Right?
True.
Our availability needs to be 100% when it comes to live sports.
Do you think it ever gets there?
I think for a lot of live events, we do have 100% availability, meaning we don't have systems going down. And we'll talk about last mile issues. But I would say in terms of the challenges from a stack perspective, it is, apart from what we already talked in terms of latency and high quality streaming and uninterrupted streaming, I would say focusing on scalability. When we have to scale for live events, the peak is significantly higher than your normal peak. And that's not easy because we have to scale for a period of time and then descale because we can't keep holding on to capacity for long periods of time. This is where for Prime Video being part of Amazon and being close partners with AWS comes into play. We use the AWS stack globally. We're able to distribute our service calls to multiple regions. We're able to scale up and down. And we built a lot of resiliency. And resiliency starts right from the truck. We need to have a resilient feed coming in across multiple ingest points. And then we have our services with multiple points of failover where we test very thoroughly to ensure that customers can get a good experience all the time.
So let's talk about that experience. You brought up ISPs and last mile, so let's touch on that. So for Prime Video content, you use CloudFront through AWS, but you also use third-party CDNs as well. Makes sense, multi-CDN strategy. Unlike the broadcast world I talked about before, where broadcasters really control everything end-to-end, you might control the device with Fire TV, the operating system. If it's on a TV, you control the content. You don't control the ISP. So how are you working with ISPs, and do you see any value over time in terms of deploying in a different style with inside ISPs in terms of delivering that content?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we all have experienced buffering, and we all have experienced drops. And as Dan, you mentioned, we do not control the entire stack. I would say the stack starts from the device. Well, we have Fire TV, but we also do not control a lot of our devices that customers are streaming on. Then we don't control the home network. Customers have things going on in the home. They may have the microwave on, or there are 10 different streaming.
Microwave on? The microwaves impacting you?
Things can happen with,
what kind of microwaves
with local
you guys
Wi-Fi.
got?
You can have...
Get a new microwave, man.
You can have multiple devices streaming in the home. So there are things that can happen that can impact the entire stream and the ISPs itself, right? There could be congestion happening in the ISP.
Frequently. Yes.
But from a Prime Video perspective, we look at the customer experience more holistically. So we have teams of people, there are some here in the audience as well, they work very closely with ISPs globally. We do work with, I would say, a few thousand ISPs globally. We do work with them in terms of, we forecast, well, forecasting is hard too.
As best you can.
As best as we can. And then we figure out, okay, well, our customer's going to come in from this ISP in this specific location, and what is the best way to connect to the customer's home? So we do have fairly complex systems in the back end that are determining the optimum route, optimum CDN to connect to, and also optimum POPs to connect with, to ensure that the end-to-end experience can go through paths that are not congested. But still, congestion happens. This is where, during a live event, right, during large live events, we have teams of people, not just the people producing the content, but behind the scenes, closely monitoring the ISP traffic, the CDN traffic, and in some cases, we have to do rerouting and changes to our stack real time to ensure we can mitigate those issues that happen.
And to help with some of those issues, are you looking, or have you already thought about or already decided this doesn't work for us, how some of, think of someone like on Netflix with Open Connect, they went and made a huge effort to put caches inside ISPs. Now, very different initially because it's all on demand.
Yeah.
Much, much easier. So is that something you're thinking down the line as you have more sports that you'll do that?
I think there are two different things. I'll answer the question in two different ways. So for example, I think CloudFront made an announcement recently that we do have embedded caches.
Yep.
So it is definitely part of our strategy. It does help with, from a network perspective, from the ISP or mobile network, to reduce any potential congestion and even scaling, right? If we can have caches deeper in the network, they don't have to scale their backbone. So it does help the network as well. So it's a strategy that we'll continue to pursue. We always figure out what is the best place and what is the most optimal way to be able to scale for such large volumes. And we'll continue to work on that strategy with CloudFront and our partners as well. The other piece of the equation, I would say, is we are also investing a lot into technologies, AI-based technologies that helps us to reduce the size of the stream.
Compression.
Compression, right? And we are building video foundation models that help us to even identify kind of the salient parts of the video to ensure we can put more bits there.
Your own tech or third party?
We are working on it. It's our own tech.
Your stuff in-house.
And then we're also working on artificial intelligence-based super resolution, where we can send a lower resolution and upscale on the device. So we have a few technologies that we're working on. These things are programmatic efforts and ongoing science and research to ensure that we can tackle the larger volumes that we're going to see in the years to come.
Makes
globally.
sense. So let's talk 4K for a minute. Thursday Night Football is not in 4K. I'll put this information out there. I already have on my blog. The NFL contract actually with streaming service providers doesn't require them to actually even do 4K. Right? YouTube TV, when they do the Sunday ticket, NFL ticket, right, they're not required to do by the NFL 4K as well. So it's not a requirement based on the content owner. Do you see going to 4K over time, though, as you improve compression, as last mile networks get better? Now, maybe not in certain countries, but at least let's talk the US. Do you think you go to 4K? And the bigger question I have for you is, do you care? Does it matter?
Well, it's a good question. We do deliver HDR for Thursday Night Football.
But that's still 1080.
That's 1080p.
30 or 60 FPS?
It's 60 FPS,
Okay.
1080p, HDR. And we believe that does give a very good experience for customers on their devices. In terms of 4K, we'll let you know when we get there.
Yeah.
We'll keep you posted then.
So the fact you're not doing 4K says something, just like everybody else who isn't doing 4K either. So we've got...
HDR10 is a very good experiance.
I agree. I think the HDR, especially for sports, I think makes sense. We've got time for maybe one or two more questions here. BA is going to be available afterwards. So if you have questions, he's not necessarily going to answer some questions. He'll leave and go out into the hallway. Next keynote will come up. One thing I wanted to ask you is, as I'm asking all the executives, how many people are under your organization that are under you that you work with? Rough idea.
We have a lot of people. We have a lot of people in Prime Video.
Thousands?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay. So the reason I asked this question is because of the size and scope of your organization. Like I asked CTO of Paramount yesterday, is As you know, there's been a lot of consolidation in the market. There's going to be more coming. There's interesting time in this market right now in terms of just people looking for jobs, people changing. A lot of people left our industry, broadcast media, gone to other industries. When you're looking to hire, right, what are the skill sets you're looking for people to have? What do you really want to see as you're building out the culture inside the organization?
Yeah, you used the word culture, Dan. I think culture is an important part, right? Because we have to have employees who blend in with how Amazon thinks. We have our leadership principles. We abide by our leadership principles. I would say that's probably very critical in terms of hiring. We look at employees, potential employees who align well with our leadership principles. And definitely the technical skills do matter depending on the role that you're applying for. We do have a lot of engineers. We do have a lot of scientists, a lot of research going on in Prime Video. We have technical program manager, product managers. And I'm happy to say that we do have roles open in Prime Video now. So if you are interested, feel free to go to our web pages and apply.
Biggest role you're hiring for right now tied to data and AI? Consumer behavior analytics?
I would say a lot of AI-related stuff. We do have roles open, I would say, across the stack.
Okay.
But interesting times as we continue to scale to, I believe we have the best streaming experience for sports, but we have a lot of things to do still.
Yeah, we're always going to have a lot of things to do.
Yeah.
So last question for you. If I don't see you for another 5 years on stage, again, right, what is going to look different 5 years from now, do you think, from a specifically sports streaming experience? Because it's where you're spending so much of your time and your effort.
Yeah, I would say that as you can see, the industry landscape is changing. And then I think, as you mentioned earlier, the packaging is changing as well in terms of what's happening globally. You'll continue to see more sports and streaming, and you'll continue to see people like Prime Video continuing to improve our experience and provide from our perspective, we still focus on being that entertainment destination, one-stop shop, where you can get more content from different providers, all in one place, single credit card, single application, thousands of devices, best streaming experience. I would say we would have made a significant progress in that journey.
I'd like to see you do more syndication too. I think that would be great. I don't think people know just how many streaming services they can get through Prime.
We have, I don't have the exact number, it is a few hundred streaming channel partners that we have on Prime Video in multiple countries. So yes, you sign up for Prime Video, sign up for Max Plus or Crunchyroll or whatever and also there are sports subscriptions on Prime Video. So one-stop shop, that's our goal, that's our vision, and we are making good progress there. Yeah,
I like the syndication and aggregation standpoint. So appreciate your time, Winston, today. If you have questions, come see him outside. We're going to get Matt right up.